Dance on the Edge, The Gilgamesh Signal by Timothy R. Senna. Chapters 2 and 3, Shepherd and Alive. Chapter 2, Shepherd. Noé rushed down the passageway marked C719 and shuffled past several doors labeled with the names of various senior personnel in charge of the subdivisions within S4's Systems Engineering Division. The brass plate on the door at the very end of the hall read, Senior Director, Dr. Abraham Shepherd, M.D., Sci.D., Systems and Software R&D, S4. Noé's shaking hand hesitated for a moment as he reached out toward the door. He took a deep breath and issued 2 knocks in quick succession before awaiting a reply. A few moments passed in silence. "Enter," was the only greeting offered, so Noé shuffled into the room and hurriedly took a seat in a leather chair set in front of the senior director's desk. Dr. Shepherd's grizzled gray stubble of a beard showed from behind a black cloth face mask, which betrayed his sharp executive suit and slicked back, high and tight haircut. Above steely, dark eyes, the director arched a bushy eyebrow steeply, furrowing the lines of his face in disapproval upon seeing Noé Utnapishtim, fidgeting uncomfortably in the leather seat across from him. "I don't recall inviting you to take a seat." He made the statement in a manner devoid of any emotion, contempt or otherwise. Nervously, Noé hopped to his feet, wringing his hands and sputtering, I'm sorry, sir. Sir, sincere apologies, sir." For the first time, the slightest hint of emotion had shown in Shepherd's face. A glimmer of disdain, hinted at in the corners of his eyes and in the lines of his forehead. "Not sir, it's doctor. You may refer to me as director, doctor, or Dr. Shepherd, in the company of multiple doctors, as will frequently be the case. You're wasting our time, apologizing and sniveling in fear. Have I expressed being offended?" "Sorry, Noé was stumbling over his words until Shepherd cut him off. "Your apologies are worthless, embarrassing, and unwanted. Respond with dignity when challenged. Stand up straight, shoulders back. Your words matter. They carry consequence in the world. Are you really sorry for something? Or are you trying to weasel your way out of the consequences of your actions? You should accept responsibility rather than apologize. That habit of covering up the ugly truth rather than facing it will ruin everything we are hoping to accomplish in this mission. Henceforth, you are to follow military etiquette in this department. We operate under the rules and regulations of the Department of Defense. As such, I will not tolerate civilians tainting the culture in my division. Understood?" "Doctor, I understand things a bit better now." Noé Utnapishtim, reporting as ordered. Noé firmly stated, standing tall, looking the director in the eyes with his shoulders back. For a brief instant, the slightest glimmer of respect twinkled in Director Shepherd's eyes. Something in the director's words and intention had resonated within Noé, overriding his initial shock and outrage. Dr. Shepherd had spoken harshly, sure, but Noé recognized that he had just been offered accurate social diagnostics for many of his flaws, which he had already been aware of, and some which he hadn't, along with a precise, literal prescription for improvement. The director was clearly solutions-oriented and unafraid to confront anything amounting to an inefficiency. Director Shepherd finally motioned with his hands as he invited Noé to be seated and unsealed the document folder marked Top Secret. "I have called you to share your first briefing on Project Echo, as well as to address some administrative concerns. First, I acknowledge that little stunt you pulled with the Pentagon's encrypted networks was groundbreaking and remarkable work, and I count that as solid proof of your ability, as well as the unique perspective needed to see systems and programming in unconventional manners. These are the qualities rendering you potentially useful to Project Echo. But know that any deviation from the path I lay out for you will result in your instant termination. Nobody is replaceable, not even me. Noe shifted uncomfortably as he tried to decide what response, if any, would be appropriate. That being said, you are being tasked with assisting in the creation of an advanced artificial intelligence system that is capable of physically perfect performance in repeated and variant Turing tests. This will, theoretically, be an entity indistinguishable from a sentient, organic life form outside of its physical makeup. Please, hold your questions for your colleagues. The director saw that Noe's excitement and anticipation had just about boiled over. He continued at his controlled, calm pace. I've also called you in here to address the admin concerns, and I'll be straightforward. All your colleagues are complaining about that damned constant coughing of yours. I have an obligation to keep the majority of my team working together with as few distractions as possible, and, I suppose, by extension, in good health. Have you been to the medical bay yet? Chapter 3 Alive. Director Shepard had directed Noe to the medical bay after their meeting. Noe received a negative result for his COVID tests after visiting the S4 medical bay, to the great relief of all of his colleagues. This left the worries of identifying the source of his persistent lung irritation for another day. Having been cleared for full systems access on Project Echo and begun working on planning and programming subsystems, Noe found himself getting lost in his work. While coding the AI subsystems, he felt the same sense of peace and dissociation he had once enjoyed while escaping to the worlds contained in his video games and fiction novels. But Radha insisted on yanking him back to base reality. Noe had never even held a girl's hand, let alone made an earnest attempt at pursuing a relationship. A terrifying, unknown variable was thrown into the equation when Radha had begun openly flirting with Noe. It was a frightening voyage into an unknown realm, as Noe struggled to act normal, or at least professional, while ignoring the hints of attraction and advances made by his new colleague. Radha was a stunning, tall woman of dark complexion, with flowing black hair and hazel eyes which lit up her face whenever she laughed. Noe's awkward attempts at conversation with her inevitably ended in embarrassment, and he soon grew anxious at the thought of being around her. He found himself avoiding her and making excuses to cut their interactions short. Though she acted with some restraint initially, Radha grew bolder with each passing day, and she was certain that she could sense her feelings were mutual. She decided to settle any self-doubt and began to devise plans to break through Noe's spiky shell. She began to seek any signs that her advances were reciprocated. The way he stumbled over his words and flushed his olive skin beet red every time they made direct eye contact, or how he nervously shuffled away every time she entered a room, all served as hints of their connection. None of these mixed signals were enough to deter Radha's interest in Noe, and she felt all he needed was a chance to develop his potential. Frustrated with Noe's oblivious inexperience, Radha crossed the line from colleague to suitor of her own accord. She had been asking Noe in vain after every weekend shift to go out and have a few drinks after work, or to grab a bite to eat at one or another renowned restaurant in Las Vegas. Once she had caught wind that Noe's mother was an astronomer, she had shifted tactics, asking him to join her to view the various eclipses or supermoons, or the Lyrids meteor shower, all in vain. Radha endured countless rejected viewings of astronomical events before Noe's shell finally cracked, and he agreed to go out and view the Eta Aquarids meteor shower with Radha. What is that one? The glittery star? Noe asked his young mother as she held him in her arms, still a small boy. That glittery one is actually not a star. It's a planet. That's Mars, Kishar Utnapishtim replied. Mars? That's not right, is it? How can it make light if it's a planet? She giggled as she explained the phenomena of light reflecting from the sun off the surface of Mars. Wow, the light travels a long way and gets to visit so many places, huh? Noe asked. Yes, but that's only possible because light travels faster than anything else in this universe. It would take far too long for us to travel to most places in the cosmos. She stroked Noe's hair gently as a breeze rustled the trees, overlooking the gorge and river below, drenched in silver moonlight. It's kinda sad, huh? I want to explore the whole universe, but we're stuck here, Noe pouted. My dear boy, it isn't sad. It just makes this place that much more precious, doesn't it? Kishar smiled gently. Noe frowned. You know what? I still wish we could travel as fast as the light, so I could take you to a better world, where Papa can't be mean. Tears streamed down Noe's cheeks as he saw the fireballs streaking across the nighttime sky above the Nevada desert, the song Strange Magic by Electric Light Orchestra playing on her car's stereo. Radha grabbed Noe's hand and offered a concerned smile as a cool wind whipped across the red rock formations and desert brush. Noe was comforted by the gesture and squeezed her palm lightly before he faced her to receive his first kiss beneath the dazzling desert sky. The heavens brightened now and then by the vaporization of meteorites entering the Earth's atmosphere in the heavens above. The inky void of space illuminated with the explosions of diamonds that made up the Milky Way streak. Desert insects chirped and sang their night song, and the earthy scent of hills around Red Rock Canyon drifted on the cool evening breeze. The moment could have been magical, if only Noe hadn't begun flailing his tongue about wildly. His ignorant enthusiasm was focused on the task of doing a thorough job. This, in his mind, amounted to licking a maximum amount of surface area of her mouth's interior in as short an amount of time as possible. Laughing as she flat-palmed his forehead away from her, she said, "Ha ha! Stop! No, don't leave. I still want to kiss you. Oh, don't look so betrayed, Noe. Just do it this way." The magic returned. Their lips sparked with the electric feeling of fate. Once the song's strange magic concluded, even the heavens were alive with the glory of love. Noe was excited to tell his mother that he had finally somehow gotten a girlfriend, a real flesh and blood, non-virtual girlfriend. Kishar Utnapishtim had suffered countless heartbreaks upon meeting her son's virtual waifus, or VTubers, or dealing with Noe's emotional fallout from chat room girlfriends who refused to allow Noe to hear their actual voices. This, of course, had frequently ended in tearful revelations that his ex-girlfriends had, so far, mostly turned out to be perverted older men posing as young women. Because of this history, Kishar assumed Noe was playing a prank on her when he introduced Radha to his mother via a video call. She refused to believe their introduction at first, prompting Radha to say, "Noe is allergic to nearly everything. He keeps a stuffed sock monkey named Coco in his wardrobe. He can't tolerate man-made fabrics, and both dairy and soy give him the bubble guts." This prompted an excited outburst from Kishar. "Koshkilam, my future daughter is radiant as the stars. I am so pleased to meet you. Noe, you had better be a gentleman. I mean it. If I hear from Radha you are getting up to any nonsense, I will travel to Nevada immediately, even if I have to walk. Coronavirus be damned." Thank you for listening to chapters 2 and 3 of A Dance on the Edge, The Gilgamesh Signal by Timothy R. Senna. Consider purchasing a copy on Amazon. There's paperback, hardcover, and ebook available on Kindle. Thank you.